Shalom, my friends. Today we are going to detonate a spiritual lie that has kept millions of good, God-fearing people playing small their entire lives. It is the subtle, poisonous idea that there is something wrong, something unholy, something to be ashamed of in wanting more money. I am here today to tell you, as a rabbi and as a student of God's eternal wisdom, that you must never apologize for wanting more money. The desire for abundance is not a sin. It is a sacred calling. And the moment you make this mindset shift, the moment you stop apologizing and start aspiring, everything in your financial life will change. By the end of this video, you will understand the divine mandate for wealth, and you will have a powerful new framework for pursuing it without guilt and with God's full blessing. But first, I want you to declare something in the comments below. If money were no object, what is the single biggest, most audacious, world-changing project you would fund? Would you build a school? Cure a disease? Start a foundation? Dream big. Let's fill the comments with a vision of what is possible when good people have great wealth. And as you do that, I invite you to join our holy mission. We are gathering an army of 50,000 souls who are committed to shattering the chains of a poverty mindset and stepping into their power as co-creators with God. If this is your mission, then subscribe now. It is your declaration of intent. And for the spiritual warriors who are ready for the front lines, who want to master the inner and outer laws of abundance, I invite you to become a channel member. This is where we go deepest. Click the Join button and answer the call. All right, let's get into it. I remember sitting in a study group years ago when I was just starting out in business. The topic was wealth and spirituality. A well-meaning person in the group said, "I think wanting a lot of money is greedy. A truly spiritual person should be content with just enough to get by." And I watched as heads around the room nodded in agreement. I felt a hot shame rise in me, because deep in my heart, I didn't just want enough. I wanted more. I wanted to build great things. I wanted to have an impact. I wanted to provide for my family in a way that my parents never could. I wanted to write large checks to charities. And in that moment, I felt like a spiritual failure. I felt greedy. I started to apologize for my ambition, both to others and in my own prayers. God, I know I shouldn't want this much, but... My ambition became a source of guilt, a secret I had to hide from my religious friends. This mindset was a cancer. It made me hesitant. It made me play small. I would negotiate deals and leave money on the table because I was afraid of appearing too greedy. I passed on opportunities because I felt I didn't deserve that level of success. I was sabotaging my own destiny because I had accepted a lie. The lie that poverty is holy and ambition is a sin. The belief that wanting wealth is wrong is one of the most effective weapons of the Yetzer Hara, our negative inclination. It is a spiritual sickness I call the poverty vow. It is an unspoken, often unconscious agreement you have made with yourself that to be a good spiritual person, you must reject wealth. This vow is a perversion of humility. It is a distortion of the concept of contentment. The Yetzer Hara brilliantly cloaks this lie in the language of piety. It whispers, "The love of money is the root of all evil." It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Note, these are not Jewish sources, but they have infected the collective consciousness. It tells you that the desire for more is a sign of a corrupt soul. And so you apologize for your ambition. You shrink your dreams to fit your income. You feel guilty for wanting a better life for your children. The cost of this poverty vow is astronomical. It doesn't just keep you poor, it keeps you ineffective. It robs the world of the good you could do if you had resources. How many charities go unfunded? How many businesses go unstarted? How many families continue to struggle because good people have been convinced that wanting money is bad? This is the master stroke of the Yetzer Hara, to neutralize God's most capable and good-hearted soldiers by convincing them that the weapons of influence and impact, money, are evil. It is a lie that has kept the world a darker place. So, what is the truth? What is the Torah's authentic view on wealth? Let's go to the very beginning, to the father of our faith, Abraham. What is the very first thing God says to Abraham in the book of Genesis? He says, "Go forth from your land, and I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you shall be a blessing." This is the foundational promise of our entire tradition. God's first interaction with the first Jew is a promise of greatness, blessing, and abundance. He doesn't say, "Leave everything, and I will make you a humble, poor servant." He says, "I will make you great." The Torah then goes on to describe Abraham's immense wealth. He is described as very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. Was Abraham less holy because of his wealth? No. His wealth was a sign of God's blessing and a tool for his mission. He used his wealth to host travelers, to teach people about God, to wage war when necessary, and to be a force for good in the world. The Torah is teaching us a fundamental lesson. God is not afraid of blessing his people. He wants you to be blessed. He wants you to be great. Your desire for more is not a rejection of God. It is an echo of God's first promise to Abraham. This was the mindset shift that changed everything for me. I realized that my desire for more money was not greed. It was a desire for more capacity. It was a desire to be a bigger channel for God's blessing in the world. Money is not good or evil. It is an amplifier. It makes you more of what you already are. If you are a generous person, money will make you more generous. If you are a selfish person, money will make you more selfish. The problem is not the money. The problem is the character of the person holding it. When I understood this, I stopped apologizing for my ambition. I started to see it as a sacred responsibility. My desire for wealth was reframed as a desire to have a greater impact, to solve bigger problems, to be a more effective ambassador for God's goodness in the world. I stopped praying, "God, forgive me for wanting this," and I started praying, "God, thank you for entrusting me with this ambition. Help me build a vessel worthy of the abundance you want to pour through me." This shift from apology to ambition, from guilt to sacred responsibility, was the key that unlocked everything. I started negotiating with confidence. I started pursuing bigger opportunities. I started to see my wealth not as a measure of my worth, but as a measure of my impact. So, how do you make this shift from the poverty vow to the ambassador's mandate? I want to give you a 3-step framework. Step 1. Redefine your ambition. You must consciously redefine what wanting more money means to you. It is no longer about luxury cars and bigger houses, though those things are fine. It is about capacity. Write this down. My desire for wealth is a desire for a greater capacity to serve, to create, to give, and to solve problems. You must burn this new definition into your soul. When you feel a pang of guilt for wanting more, you must immediately replace it with this new, holy definition. You are not a greedy person. You are an aspiring philanthropist, an aspiring creator, an aspiring agent of change. Step 2. Write your philanthropic mission statement. This is the most powerful step. I want you to sit down and write out in detail exactly what you would do with the wealth you desire. Don't just say, "I'll give to charity." Be specific. Which charities? How much? What problems in the world break your heart? How would you use your resources to solve them? Would you build a school, fund medical research, support your local synagogue, create a foundation to help single mothers? Your ambition for wealth must be attached to a mission of service. This does 2 things. First, it gives your ambition a holy purpose which dissolves all guilt. Second, it turns you into a partner with God. You are no longer just asking for money for yourself. You are presenting God with a business plan for how you will use His resources to repair His world. Tikkun Olam. Step 3. Act like an ambassador. An ambassador for a great king does not live in a shack and wear rags. They live in a beautiful embassy and wear fine clothes, not for their own ego, but to represent the honor, dignity, and abundance of the king they serve. You are an ambassador for the King of Kings. You have a responsibility to represent him well. This means you should strive for excellence in all you do. You should dress well. You should keep your home and your workplace in a state of order and beauty. You should act with integrity and generosity. When you live with this consciousness, you are not being materialistic. You are being a good ambassador. You are showing the world that the God you serve is a God of abundance, order, and excellence, not a God of poverty, chaos, and lack. Let me give you a powerful example from the Torah that destroys the poverty mindset forever. King Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, was also the wealthiest. When God appeared to him in a dream and said, "Ask for whatever you want," Solomon didn't ask for wealth. He asked for wisdom to lead God's people. And what was God's response? God was so pleased with Solomon's request that he gave him not only wisdom, but also wealth and honor beyond measure. The Torah tells us that silver was as common as stones in Jerusalem during Solomon's reign. Was Solomon's wealth a curse? No, it was a blessing that allowed him to build the first temple, a wonder of the ancient world. It allowed him to establish peace and prosperity for an entire nation. It allowed him to become a beacon of God's glory to all the surrounding nations. Solomon's wealth was not in conflict with his spirituality. It was the fruit of it. This is the Torah's model. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. Your ambition for wealth, when it flows from a desire to serve God's purposes, is not only acceptable, it is blessed. Let's go deeper. The Kabbalah teaches that the very purpose of creation is for God to bestow his infinite goodness upon us. The problem is, we are often unwilling or unable to receive it. The desire for wealth, when it is purified and attached to a holy mission, is actually a desire to build a bigger vessel, kli, to receive more of God's goodness, shefa. It is a holy act. When you say, "I want to be a millionaire so I can build a hospital," you are telling God, "I am willing to do the hard work of building a vessel large enough to handle the blessing required to build a hospital." God is not looking for people who want to stay small. He is looking for partners who are willing to build massive vessels to channel his light into the world. Your ambition is a sign of your willingness to be such a partner. There is also a profound teaching in the Talmud that addresses this directly. The sages say, "Ashrei Adam sheyegiach kapav." Happy is the person who eats from the labor of their own hands. But they also teach, "Ashrei Adam sheyesh lo nechasim ve'osei tzedakah." Happy is the person who has wealth and gives charity. Notice, the Talmud doesn't say, "Woe to the person who has wealth." It says, "Happy is the person who has wealth and uses it for good." The problem is never the wealth. The problem is when wealth is hoarded, when it is used selfishly, when it becomes an idol. But when wealth is pursued with a pure heart and used for holy purposes, it is one of the greatest blessings a person can have. The Talmud goes even further. It teaches that a person who has the ability to give charity but refuses to do so is called a rasha, a wicked person. But a person who does not have the ability to give charity, even if they have a generous heart, cannot fulfill this commandment. Do you see the implication? Your desire to be wealthy so that you can give generously is not greed. It is a desire to fulfill one of the highest commandments in Judaism. You are not apologizing for wanting more. You are preparing yourself to be a greater servant of God. Furthermore, there is a concept in Judaism called hidur mitzvah, which means beautifying the commandments. The Talmud teaches that we should strive to perform God's commandments in the most beautiful way possible. We should use a beautiful menorah, a beautiful Seder plate, a beautiful synagogue. Why? Because beauty and excellence bring honor to God. The same is true of your life. When you use your resources to create a life of excellence and beauty, you are performing a hidur mitzvah. You are showing the world the beauty of a life lived in partnership with God. A life of abundance, lived with purpose and generosity, is one of the most powerful testimonies to God's goodness that exists. I want to share with you a story that will illustrate the power of this mindset shift. There was a woman in my community, a talented entrepreneur, who had built a successful business. But she was always uncomfortable talking about her success. She would downplay her achievements. She would apologize when she bought a nice car. She felt guilty for living in a beautiful home. I sat down with her and asked, "Why do you apologize for your success?" She said, "I don't want people to think I'm materialistic or greedy." I asked her, "How much do you give to charity each year?" She told me a number that was substantial. I then asked, "If you were half as successful, would you be able to give half as much?" She paused. "No, I suppose not." I said, "Then your success is not about you. It is about the people you are able to help because of your success. Stop apologizing for it. Own it. Celebrate it. And use it as a platform to do even more good." Her entire countenance changed. She realized that her guilt was not humility. It was a form of false modesty that was actually diminishing her impact. She stopped apologizing. She started talking openly about her success and her mission. And something amazing happened. Other successful people were drawn to her. They wanted to partner with her. They wanted to support her charitable work. Within 2 years, she had tripled her charitable giving. Not because she became more successful, but because she stopped hiding her success. She became an ambassador, and ambassadors attract resources. So, here is my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, I want you to live by the ambassador's mandate. 1. Redefine your ambition. Every time you think about wanting more money, consciously reframe it as a desire for more capacity to do good. 2. Finalize your philanthropic mission statement. Write it out, print it, and read it every single day. This is the why behind your ambition. 3. Act like an ambassador. In one small way each day, upgrade your level of excellence. Dress a little better. Clean your desk. Go the extra mile for a client. Act like the successful, abundant person you are becoming. Let me also address a critical distinction that must be made. There is a difference between wanting wealth for its own sake and wanting wealth for the sake of impact. The first is called avodah zarah, idolatry. It is making money your god. The second is called avodah, service. It is making money your tool. How do you know which one you are pursuing? Ask yourself this question. If I had all the money I desired, would I still do the work I am doing? If the answer is no, then you are chasing money and you will never be satisfied. But if the answer is yes, if you would still do the work because you love the mission, because you love the impact, because you love the act of creation and service, then you are pursuing wealth for the right reasons. Money, in this case, is not your destination, it is the fuel for your journey. This is the mindset of the ambassador. They don't serve the king for the paycheck. They serve the king because they believe in the king's mission. The paycheck is simply what allows them to continue serving at a higher level. I also want to give you a powerful prayer that will help you maintain this mindset. Every morning, before you start your work, say this: God, I dedicate my work today to you. May the wealth I create be a channel for your blessing in the world. May I use every dollar I earn to bring honor to your name and healing to your creation. I do not apologize for my ambition, because my ambition is to be a worthy partner in your work. Amen. This simple prayer will transform your relationship with money. It will sanctify your work. It will remind you every single day that you are not just building a business or a career, you are building a platform for divine service. Let me leave you with one final, powerful truth. The Torah tells us that when the Israelites left Egypt, they did not leave empty-handed. God commanded them to ask the Egyptians for gold, silver, and fine clothing, and the Egyptians miraculously gave it to them willingly. Why? Because God wanted His people to leave with wealth. He wanted them to have the resources they would need to build the tabernacle, to establish a nation, to fulfill their destiny. God does not want His people to be poor. He wants them to be equipped. He wants them to have the tools they need to accomplish His purposes. Your desire for wealth is not a betrayal of your spiritual calling. It is a preparation for it. You are not asking for wealth so you can retire on a beach and do nothing. You are asking for wealth so you can build, so you can give, so you can serve at a level that matches the size of your calling. Never apologize for that. Own it. Declare it. And then go out and build the vessel that can hold it. 30 days. Stop apologizing for your ambition. Embrace it as a holy calling. Attach it to a mission of service. And then act with the excellence and dignity of an ambassador of the King. Do this, and you will not only dissolve your guilt around money, you will become a magnet for the very wealth you desire, because you will have finally become a vessel worthy of receiving it. Shalom, and may you be blessed with the audacity to dream big, the courage to pursue your ambition without apology, and the wisdom to use your abundance as a force for good in the world.